And there you go, Legend into week 5. And what a journey, what an adventure it has been already. So you received majority of the knowledge so far, and at this week, it's most essential to reflect on everything you learned so far, because everything it can be a little bit overwhelming, as every week literally had something new to it. Like we started, of course, with week 1, normal introduction to the markets, the force behind the market, what is liquidity, how to use emotions, money, and all the other aspects against you, what's the retail traps. We walked through the whole basic master map, meaning like all the basics you should understand, like obviously the foundational knowledges. Then we digged into inducement trades, inducement basics. What is inducements? Like how do they create those? What's the purpose behind them? Like how you can use them as continuation and reversal. We digged into the power of timing, right? And then obviously gave you the normal starter kit variation for lit by itself. So again, you see week 1 already is a lot of stuff, and it's important for you to understand every single aspect of that already. So use week 5 as your full mastery week, like entering into the mastery, right? To really see, okay, what's all the points where I may be a little bit struggling, and then go back through all the other weeks, go to the topic and rewatch that stuff, right? Same thing for week 2. What did we cover in week 2, right? We covered the lit cycle, like overall all the timing aspects, like what's the magic manipulation minutes, how to use London Open, how to use Frankfurt, how to use New York Open, how to use New York trap time, like what's the difference of New York Open, New York trap time, what's London close, what's the characteristics, can mitigate out of it, right? I want to close out of it, or it can do something if it's the extreme. Get used to all these basics, and again, nothing wrong with falling back into a previous week and rewatch videos. That's why you have all the recordings there, right? And also, again, the beginning of intraday mastery, the first examples, all the stuff. Again, even a little bit advanced inducement examples already in week 2, the daily cycle, again, how we use it. Overall, with the timing aspects, again, we learned the normal identify liquidity, build up, inducement mitigation cycles, right? Of course, in the timing cycles, also the simplicity approach, the first steps of the simplicity approach with kind of the extended lit cycle, where we added the relevant break of structure, and that's how the only way we use market structure, right? But you should understand everything already in here. And if not, again, fall back to week 2 to refresh that knowledge. Week 3, probably one of the most important weeks overall, because we dig into cycle variations, right? To understand the bigger picture with the Asia whipsaw, all the different variations we have, like the London knockout, the retail heaven, right? To understand how to identify them, and also again use the master guide video to really understand how you can use that, right? The cycle variation of how many there are and how to identify them properly. Then also entry helper. Again, you should have the entry helper knowledge, like knowing it better than the inside of your pocket, right? So again, what's the let? When do we use it? That's the only time we are looking for an let. What's an EDM? How and when is the only time we use an EDM? All that stuff, all the additional confluences, right? For example, Asia high, low, day open price, yesterday high, weekly high, all that stuff, right? All the additional confluences, get to know them and know how to use them properly. Then again, we completed the simplicity approach, where we did everything but entering a trade yet, right? So just for understanding basis. Again, what's the simplicity approach, the full simplicity approach, right? What's the steps and how you should use them? Always get used to do that, because that's essential stuff, right? And of course, how to use the entry helper, like properly. You maybe have to refresh that as well. We don't know, but again, maybe fall back into week 3, rewatch the cycle variations, something like that, but get to know the stuff very, very good, because again, we're digging into repetition. But if there's a flaw in your knowledge base so far, it will not get fixed by itself. You have to go back, rewatch a topic until you really understand. And again, if the inducements give you some sort of little struggle so far, no problem. Go into week 1 or week 2 and rewatch the inducements, right? No problem. Again, if the cycle variation is a little bit tricky, rewatch the master guide video of how to identify blitz cycles, the daily cycle variations, for example, right? And then week 4, we covered cup trades. What is the approaches? How, first of all, what is cup trades? What's the cup trade approaches, right? We have obviously very different entry approaches of how you can use, right? So then figure out for yourself what's the best entry approach you want to use and practice it. Stick to it. Again, maybe rewatch all the different entry approaches, right? But then pick yours, your favorite, or multiples, right? Again, nothing wrong with taking all 4 of them. But again, if you want to be a specialist, not only focus on one specific one, then I would recommend you after break of structure the let, because that's the most confluences you can have, right? But again, sometimes you just don't have a break of structure for let. Maybe you sometimes have no break of structure and a let only, right? Or a break of structure but no let, something like that. That's multiple variations, but you have to decide for yourself what's your preferred entry. We have people that only trade lets. We have people that only trade EDMs. We have people that only trade extreme mitigations. It's completely fine. But you have to obviously decide for yourself slowly but surely how you want to proceed and how you want to trade. So fall back also into week 4 and rewatch these entry methods, like these entry approaches, right? In particular to inducement trades, right? A lot of examples about inducement trades. Rewatch, and again, I cannot say that more enough, rewatch the blueprint video in week 4. That's probably for theory basis the most important video there is, because again, it shows you the theory behind it and where to look for these entries, and only then, again, no making shit up in between. Again, there's literally how you can trade everything, even with the fast and Frankfurious trade, right? Again, how you can trade into the inducement into Frankfurt, but there's an abundance of entry opportunities, an abundance of variation you can use, right? So just pick your style. Then again, we dig into a lot of special trainings, right? Like hot seats, like mini cycles, all that stuff, getting a feeling for the bigger picture. Like there's a lot of content you received so far. And again, everything is structured into topics and proper modules. So if you have any problems or nothing or something is not 100% clear so far, just use again week 5 also for a kind of refresher week for your own benefit. Okay, so what we will do in week 5 though, again, we will give you a little bit more cup trade solidification with more and more examples, repetition, right? You will find a lot of repetition in there, right? Then special training. We will do a lot more breaking stuff down on the edge, because now you have to train your eyes on the edge breakdowns. So we do a lot of on the edge breakdowns to get that really into your brain and really open the gates to into the wonder world for you, right? So a lot of on the edge training in week 5, and also simplicity approach, right? Because you completed the simplicity approach, and now you want to enter the stuff with the simplicity approach as well. Okay, so it's a little bit different in cup trades. It's a simplicity approach, again, where you can enter literally whenever you want, right? At the moment you identify the proper simplicity approach, but we also show you that on the edge as well. So week 5 is a lot of on the edge work and really content solidification. And again, use it again to maybe revise old videos to really get to know the knowledge into your brain, and then train it on the edge. And then obviously we move into the more advanced weeks. Week 6 is trading plan, where we show you exactly how to plan your trading around everything, right? Also psychology. Week 7 and 8 is obviously advanced training, right? But now week 5, use everything for content solidification. Enjoy, fall back, right? If there's something not 100% clear, rewatch videos of the other weeks, completely fine. And use week 5 for intense on the edge content solidification, knowledge and training.